Greetings, metalheads. Welcome to another edition of the Friday 13th YouTube. So, today we're going to be talking about the new Flotsam and Jetsam album, which is an absolute fantastic album. It's only just come out on AFM Records. It's called I Am the Weapon. It was produced by Flotsam and Jetsam and mixed and mastered by Jacob Hansen. As you can imagine, the overall sound and production is phenomenal. Now, the band originally formed back in 1981 under a different name. They were called Paradox, Dreadbox, and also Dogs. Now, they changed their name in 1984. As we all know, the band are from Phoenix, Arizona. Now, we all know that the band's cult classic album is the debut, Doomsday for Deceiver, originally released on Metal Blade Records, and this came out in 1986. And this album featured Eric A.K. on vocals, would have Edward Carlson on guitars, would have Michael Gilbert on guitars, who's still in the band with A.K. I would also have Jason Newsted. We all know Jason's fame went to Metallica after leaving Flotsam and Jetsam. And on drums, we would have had Kelly David Smith. And when you listen to this cult classic debut album, you'd have heard some amazing songs like Hammerhead, Iron Tears, Destructor, Fade to Black, Doomsday for Deceiver. The album was absolutely fantastic, received some amazing reviews from the press, and the fans alike loved this album. Wasn't long before the band released the next album, which is another successful album. It was called No Place for Disgrace. Now, this cult classic album featured new bassist back then. His name was called Troy Gregory. No Place for Disgrace would see the band signed to a major label, Elektra, and also the third album, which was called When the Storm Comes Down. This was on MCA Records. Now, the band have done a lot of albums since these three albums. In total, the band have released 15 albums if you include the new album. Now, the band are signed to AFM Records still, in which the band signed to the label for the album Flotsam and Jetsam, released in 2016. Now, this album would see a lineup change. We'd have Eric A.K. on vocals, still in the band as we all know as the frontman. We'd also have Steve Conley on guitars, who's still with the band today. We'd have Michael Gilbert on guitars, original guitarist who's still with them. We'd have Michael Spencer on bass, who was once with a band called Sentinel Beast. And on drums at the time, we'd have Jason Bittner, who was with Overkill. Now, the band in the last couple of albums have had a new rhythm section. We'd know that Bill Bodily was on bass guitar. And on drums, we'd have Ken Mary, fantastic drummer. We all know his work with House of Lords and Fifth Angel. He's done so many great albums, but this is the current lineup for the new album with the members already mentioned. Now, the band have wrote some brilliant albums. They've also been very strong and powerful albums. They've kept the true to the word of thrash metal, and this new album contains 11 songs. So now I'm going to tell you what the song titles are before I give you a little insight on the album. We'd open up with a song called A New Kind of Hero, followed by Primal, I Am the Weapon, Burned My Bridges, The Head of the Snake, Beneath the Shadows, Gates of Hell, Cold Steel Lights, King of the Underworld, Running Through the Fire. The last song would be called Black Wings. So now I'm going to tell a little bit about the album, what I think of the songs. Opening track, A New Kind of Hero. This is a brilliant opening track, folks, if you've not heard it already. It's a very powerful thrash song, taking you back to the old school days. Eric's voice is phenomenal. The guitar work is brilliant, and some really good, powerful rhythm sections here. The production is second to none. Like I said, Jacob Hansen's done the mixing and mastering. We all know his work with Primal Fear, pretty amazing. So are the great bands like Volbeat. He's a fantastic mixer and master and also a great producer. Now, this song takes me back to the old school's Flotsam and Jetsam. There's also a little hint in there of Overkill. I think it's just the bass guitar sound and maybe the drum productions. But if you are a fan of Overkill, you're going to love this. Like I said, Jason Bittner was once in the band, but Ken Mary has done a fantastic job. Now, the next song is called Primal. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Overkill and also a bit of Motorhead. Now, there's one thing I've got to say. The artwork for this album is absolutely fantastic. You're going to see it as I'm reviewing this album. It's going to look fantastic as a t-shirt. This band writes some really heavy but yet melodic songs. Eric's vocals are really fantastic. He's always been a fantastic singer, as we all know. Next up is the title track, I Am the Weapon. This is a brilliant song, folks. Really, really heavy, but yet melodic. It's a really well thought out song. Catchy, yet melodic and technical. Now, this album has some really heavy songs, but yet it still has some really mellow songs or mid-pace songs, but it's still a good thrash album. The next song, Burning My Bridges, is a classic mid-pace song with some really strong elements. And at times, this song kind of reminds me a little bit of Primal Fear and also Iron Maiden. All in all, this is a brilliant album, folks. And if you do like the previous albums by Flotsam and Jetsam, I can't see why you're not going to enjoy this album. Production's brilliant. The songs are brilliant, really catchy songs with some powerful vocals, some great guitar sections here and rhythm sections. So other than the songs I've just told you about, I'm going to also recommend to you the following songs. Head of the Snake is another fantastic song. Gates of Hell is another fantastic song, very heavy in places. Another heavy song is called Cold Steel Lights. Kind of has that speed metal elements to it. and also the song Kings of the Underworld. So that's my favourite songs on the album, and once the ones I already mentioned. This is a brilliant album. I'm going to give this album 5 out of 5. It's just a sheer powerful album by a band that I have so much respect for. So Flotsam and Jetsam's new album is absolutely fantastic, folks. If you've not already got it, you've got to buy this one, especially if you like your thrash metal. I Am the Weapon by Flotsam and Jetsam, released on AFM Records. Go and buy it, folks. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching. More reviews coming soon.